Hey everybody. Um, Welcome back to another episode of Metaphysical Moments, I guess I'll call them. So, and I thought I had this adjusted right, but YouTube didn't show me. Anyway, I just got finished harvesting lemon balm and watering the garden, so I'm still wearing my gardening stuff, and that's fine. Um, and I just wanted to pop on today to talk about, continue talking about living in the chrysalis. If you don't know what that is, then you can watch my previous video. I wrote a newsletter about it and I read and explained about that. But I wanted to talk about the 0 point. Okay, the first day of living in the chrysalis was about 0 point energy, and I'm doing some other writing as well. And I thought, well, um, shouldn't we start with politics or something like that? I mean, don't we have to change our political structures and such before we're going to be able to, uh, access these different kinds of energy and forms of agriculture and just the way we live. But I was told very clearly that no, the first and foremost thing is 0 point. And here's why. Okay. Um, the one book that probably changed my life the most was The Field by Lynn McTaggart. And she's not a scientist, but she's a journalist, and she interviewed scientists who studied the 0 point field, which is supposed to be the field, the universal field that's supposed to connect everything. And I highly recommend that book, The Field by Lynn McTaggart. But it does talk about the field and how it connects everything. But what is this field made of? One of the people who has done a lot of research into this is Nassim Haramein. I can't remember the name of his. He has a scientific institute on the island of Hawaii. Can't remember what it's called. But anyway, if you look up Nassim Haramein. But I've met Nassim years and years ago when he was in Ashland. I'm not sure if he ever lived here, but he was part of the group that I hung around with. And one of the stories he told was when he was a child, riding a bus. Or maybe he was a young man. Anyway, he was riding a bus. I don't know if it was a school bus or he was traveling. And, oh yeah, he had been learning in school about geometry and the nature of reality. And he remembered that his teacher drew a picture of a person who was blowing into a balloon, a bubble, and this bubble was getting larger and larger, and the sun has come out. I was in the shade. Oh well, and uh, and the question that was supposed to be the universe expanding. Okay, we all know that the universe is supposed to be expanding. And he said, "Well then, who's that guy who's blowing into the bubble?" So then he's riding on this bus, and he said all of a sudden he had this moment of insight when he realized that oh gosh, I missed a part. When you learn geometry, there's like, you start with the point, the dot, and then you have the line, and then you have, I don't know, 2D and 3D and fourth dimension. Anyway, you get into all these different phases of geometry. I might have to move. Um, anyway, and he had this moment where he saw that everything is dots. Everything is dots. And that stuck with me for a very long time. And later, when I was writing on metaphysicsforlife.com and I was writing about 0 point field and 0 point energy, I was wondering, what is it about those dots? So, in a meditation, what I was shown is that what we experience as the physical world is really made up of infinite 0 points. And you can't wrap your mind around that, so don't even try to think of it. but Nassim was right that that what we perceive as the physical world is made up of infinite 0 points, and each 0 point is a point of view in the reality, and it is also each 0 point is the source of that point of view. So, since then we've discovered things like the toroidal field of energy, and we know about black holes and that there are 0 points. And 0 points are kind of like black holes, and we now know that black holes not only take energy in, they also let energy out. And that brings us to the human heart, which then you've got the Heart Math Institute. All of this does get to a point eventually. You've got the Heart Math Institute, who discovered that, when you create heart coherence, that it has this effect on the brain and on the entire body, that the heart generates this electromagnetic field that encompasses the whole, your entire body, and extends, we don't know how far, as far as we can measure, and perhaps farther. So, what is it in the heart, that is emitting this field of energy and information? And what's in that energy and information? Well, that energy and information is informing every cell in our body and everything in our environment. Um, and that comes from that one special 0 point, which within each of us, which is our unique point of view. Okay. So getting back to 0 point energy. All right. When I was talking about living in the chrysalis, and that day one is about energy, a new form of energy, because we've been using fossil fuels, coal, oil, gas, all these things, burning wood, all the things that we use, we eat food, all these things to get energy. And when in fact, the source of all energy everywhere, the source of all energy is the 0 point field, and it is each individual 0 point, which is at the heart, the center of every point of view in our reality. So at first I thought day one of the chrysalis was about, and it's about, transitioning to 0 point energy instead of burning fuels and all those things. But it's actually much, much deeper than that. It's about all of us waking up to this 0 point within each of us. Because when you tap into that 0 point, then you have access to infinite energy and infinite information. You can heal anything. We like to use that term a lot. It's the source of everything. I was listening to Penny Kelly. Lately, she's been talking a lot online. A lot of people have been talking a lot more lately. And she's talking about extraterrestrials and when we meet them, and she's met some of them and how they create in their reality. And they've already learned how to do this, that, tapping into their own 0 point and being able to, create from that source of energy and information. And in fact, that is what we're doing all the time, but perhaps not consciously. So, yeah. One of the things I talked to with Nassim about was that in a meditation once, many years ago, I saw how we can tap into the 0 point energy on this level of powering our cars and our homes and that type of thing, our phones and all these little devices. I can't wait because I want to get rid of all the cords. Okay, I've had it with all these cords all over my house, everything having to be plugged in. Everything would have what I call it a zippy crystal. Because in this vision, what I was shown is that if you take a certain mix of, oh gosh, I wrote it down and I lost it, elements, and I forget what those were. But the key one was if you take a single molecule of gold and drop it in there and then expose it to a certain frequency of sound, then the single molecule of gold will take its place in the center, and it will organize that into a zippy crystal. And that would be like a battery that we would then have to invent devices that would mesh with that and create electricity. I'm not an engineer. I'm not. So, I was shown that, and I'm like, okay. So I gave it to Nassim, and that was a long, long time ago. And I did notice in the past year or so that he has created some kind of a device or crystal that seems to be on the verge of doing that. It's mostly being offered as a way of enhancing your own energy field, but I think we're getting very, very close to that time where we will be able to create those crystals and be able to power all of our devices using that. Um, and who knows, maybe it'll work because it'll be integrated with our own heart center. And all we have to do is, communicate with the Zivia crystal and say, okay, turn on my phone. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go. So, so we will have 0 point energy, excuse me, in that form, but the form of 0 point energy that is available to all of us all of the time is that which comes from our own 0 point in our heart. That is the source of that electromagnetic field. That is the source of the energy and information that is informing every cell in our body, that is informing our brain, triggering it. It's interesting. I saw a documentary on some mainstream media, and it literally said that something about energy, that most of the information that goes to the brain. It's a, outside doggy. Somebody driving by. Maybe you can't hear that. Anyway, that most of the information that goes to the brain actually comes from the heart. They said that, but they did not go into any detail about it. So I was like, And that might just be because of the work that HeartMath is doing. So heartmath.org, lots of free information there. So, yeah, learning, I would say, during this time, living in the chrysalis, number one priority, get tapped in to that 0 point in your own heart. Create the heart-head, coherence, heart-mind coherence, so that the energy and information that you are sending out to your body and to your environment in every way, all the time, is coherent and will create. What it does is, I'm being told to tell you this, is that when you go through the 0 point, it's not like you're going through to another place, okay? We tend to think of it as like a black hole in space, and that we're on this side and you go through the black hole to another side. That's not really it. Each 0 point is infinite in itself. It contains all the energy and information of the universe. That is the fractal, that is the holographic nature of our reality. So that each 0 point isn't just a gateway to some other dimension or place. Although, if you travel, through it consciously, it seems like you're going through a tunnel and then to another place. But it contains. It is all of this. I shouldn't say contains. It is all of this, and it is. Oh gosh, how do you put this into words? Sorry. Yeah, the 0 point isn't in another space or time or anything like that. Each 0 point is a point of view in the infinite, and it contains the infinite. That's the best I can do, sorry. And there is no out here. Everything that we seem to see out here actually is in there. We're just perceiving it as if it's out there. Yeah, try to get your head around that one. So anyway, that's all I can give you. That's all I can give you right now, is that, get in touch with that 0 point in your heart, connect with that. Remember that what's out there is in here, and what's in here is out there, okay? It's not just a mirror. It is what's in here. Yeah. Anyway, okay, that's all I'm getting. So living in the chrysalis, woohoo! on our way collectively now to be able to live in the collective human consciousness as a butterfly. There have been individual people, of course, who have um, made that metamorphosis transformation, kind of paving the way, making it possible so that each of us individually can do that as the collective whole goes through it. Right. Anyway, that's what I'm getting. Um, yeah. So, yeah, living in the chrysalis, day one, 0 point energy. There will be zippy crystals. We won't have to plug in our phones or our laptops anymore, and we won't have to fill up the car. Yay! And yeah, we won't have to worry about, you know, piping, sending electricity to the house or anything. And that's going to transform communications too. It's going to become quantum communications, but that's another subject. Um, all right. Focus on your heart. Take a deep breath and just create feelings of, it just feels good. And, in heart math, they would say, focus on your heart, take a deep breath, and think of someone or something you love or care about. The problem I had with that is that if I was in conflict with someone or something that I loved or care about, or if I was afraid of losing someone or something I loved and cared about, that doesn't create the right frequency, the right energy that you need to open up that heart, connect with that. So I say instead just, create those feelings. Remember a time when you were content, um, as long as that doesn't make you sad. See, it's complicated. Uh, Find a way when you breathe in and focus on your heart to create feelings of contentment and inner peace. And, love is up there, it's way up there, but if you can get to contentment and inner peace, um, yeah, that is the, uh, that is a much higher frequency. It feels so good doing that too. So why wouldn't you want to? All right, I hope you can hear me. I'm trying to get a little closer to the phone this time. Last time the audio was a bit low. I hope I did better this time. I hope you are enjoying my green trees and spend some time in nature. That will help you connect with that 0 point, because it's easier to connect with the 0 point field when you're in nature, because it's more coherent when it's in nature. Okay, you're still surrounded we are the 0 point field. Even if you're in a car in the city, even if you're exposed to electromagnetic fields, it's just that the fields that are coming from all those 0 points are much more disrupted, okay, by all the stuff that's going on in our built environments. You come out into nature, and nature's got it down, okay. 0 point 0 points in everything, all of them, emitting those fields, telling all of the cells and everything, what they need to do, um, and it's all very coherent. Yeah, that's why when we get out in nature, it's easier for us to come into coherence. All right, that's it for this week. We're living in the chrysalis. Get connected to your heart. Learn more about the 0 point field if you need to. Um, and it's coming, people. It's going to be great. All right. Thanks for joining me here. And I'll see you next week. Take care. Love you.